We're back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sponsored Content. I am your host. On this episode of Spawn Storytime, we are covering Violator number 2. Before that, let's quickly recap Violator number 1. In Violator issue number 1, we get our first appearances of the Fleabiac brothers, Vacillator, Vandalizer, Vaporizer, and Vindicator. Issue number 1 is basically the Fleabiac brothers looking up on Violator in his clown form on Earth. He's a disgrace. He's been banished to the Earth, basically because he pissed off Malebolgia. Tony Twist has hired the Admonisher to come in and deal with the Violator. We see a big Dolph Lundgren looking ass motherfucker come in, super macho, super armed to the teeth, but very polite and respectful. As the Violator tries his best to get away from the Admonisher, we end issue number 1 with a portal to hell opening up inside the Mall of America, and the Fleabiac brothers coming up behind the Violator and asking him for a hug and an explanation. Violator number 2 continues this story. This is the second part in a 3-part story arc titled The World. Violator number 2 was released on June 1st, 1994. With artwork on the cover depicting Violator and the Admonisher both now sort of cowering together. This issue continues the story written by Alan Moore with pencils by Bart Sears. Let's jump right into Violator issue number 2. Back in hell now, I think, because we were just at the Mall of America. The Fleabiac brothers are pissed because Violator is fat, he's human, he's been banished to Earth, and he's got this dead-ass head of rigor mortis stuck on his arm. They call him pitiful. Violator says, I've kind of got this Dolph Lundgren dude on my ass, and they're like, we don't give a shit about that. They say, you gotta look at it from our POV, you're basically dishonoring the name of the 4 famous Fleabiac brothers, and Violator's like, don't you mean 5? And he's like, I know what I goddamn mean. He continues on to say that Violator is not one of us any longer, and especially, dressed like this in sort of his human clown form, the Danny DeVito form, that's the sort of expecting mother outfit. He says, real men don't wear flesh. And this guy in the bottom here in the left, sort of photobombing this panel, I don't know why he's here, but he should probably find a better place to hang out. Violator's brothers continue on that, they must consider the fact that they can't allow him to be completely wasted by some lousy-ass human, even if he's like super buff and looks like an action movie hero. They say that if anyone's gonna waste the Violator, that they're gonna do it themselves. It's the least they could do, being brothers and all. After they toss Violator through this glass window, they're like, hey, let's reminisce a little bit about when we were little murderlings. Don't you remember playing head baseball and you were kind of a little twerp? Now Violator gets picked up and questioned again and again about his memory or lack thereof. And then Violator gets his ass punted away, like this dude is just Gary Anderson or something. Violator goes flying across 3 panels, makes a gigantic splatash. The other brothers are kind of in awe of this. Dude says, hey, Vindicator, stop gawking, and whip up some Necratius containment so nobody interrupts me before I whoop a Violator's ass. He says, no problem. Violator's looking pretty rough. He's bleeding out a bit. He's got glass shards all over him. This dude whips up a Necratius containment thing, kind of whipping up a little bit of goopy sort of energy here. And he talking like Missy Elliott, you're damn chicken. Meanwhile, these people are running out of the mall, presumably, thanking God that they got out of there just in time. This dude continues to whip up like a Necratius containment, something or other power here. He's either getting really gigantic and towering over the city now, or the city has somehow shrunken down. I'm not really sure. Kuklu Horga Zultek Yaptab Zikchamanet. This guy continues on, whipping up just a gigantic amount of power in a scene reminiscent of something maybe from Ghostbusters. Everybody's sort of taking an eye to the sky, kind of wondering what the hell is going on. Twistelli hops out of his limo, and he's like, where is my Admonisher? I thought he was supposed to be out here taking care of all this demon business. What am I even paying this guy for? Meanwhile, we bounce over to Shaft and some young bloods. They're discussing this impenetrable dome of energy that has now appeared over the city. He says we have a situation here, which we obviously know. Back in hell, Violator's picked up, and he's about to get his ass completely whooped by his big brother here. And then the Admonisher pops in, and he's like, so, you trying to help your little friend escape? Before I put my admonishing ass all over you, I need to know one thing. Which one of you is Roosevelt? Which is hilarious because in the first Violator issue, the Admonisher was down to go after Teddy Roosevelt. So he's kind of down here looking for Roosevelt now. Violator's brother comes rushing up, being a little bit overconfident maybe, and the Admonisher just straight badoom blows his brains out. He is aware of this. His brain goes flying. His brother's going back trying to catch this brain. He fumbles the pass. Now the Admonisher has taken all the attention. He's sitting here blasting on the 4 Fleabiak brothers as they approach him. The Violator is taking sort of a timeout on this couch, trying to collect himself. He reflects on the fact that his life is a complete mess. He is exiled, powerless. The Mafia is out to kill him. His own family and brothers here would rather he be dead as well. He says he doesn't even have anyone to talk to, so he's just kind of looking for a therapist now. Maybe he needs to contact BetterHelp. And as all this chaos is ensuing around the Violator, sort of off-screen here, he starts to strike up a conversation with the severed deceased head that is still attached to his arm. Now we see in a tale being told by the Violator to this severed head that in 1589, Dr. John Dee first conjured up his pappy. I assume his pappy is depicted here below. It states that he called pappy a flea-boughten spirit of the upper airs. And basically that is a blood-sucking fiend from hell in modern-day English. So that's nice. Violator continues on that basically his dad had a taste for more than blood. It was at that point that his father was introduced to his mother, who was apparently a very fine-looking woman by all accounts. This severed head, who is now the Violator's therapist, is sort of giving him the Freudian take. Maybe you want to have sex with your mom or something sick like that. Violator says, that's disgusting. And he continues on that basically saying that, these ladies were not surviving childbirth. And if they're like regular ass human ladies or something and they're really birthing these demon kids, then that's to be expected. So Violator's therapy session here essentially boils down to sibling rivalry. And now we see more of the Admonisher and his fantastic language here, just yelling at the Fleabiak brothers, "You despicable, loathsome, slobbering pieces of hell trash. Like you are just about to really get told off now." The Fleabs are lamenting, like, why can't somebody make this dude dead yet? And in the bottom, we can kind of get an idea as to why, because Dolph Lundgren is fending off this attack with amazing authority and conviction. He must have a ton of ammo crates available nearby. And on our next page, we just see a lot of illustrations sort of describing the Fleabiak brothers' strategy session and trying to figure out how exactly they can deal with the Admonisher. So now on this page, we dig a little bit more into the Violator's subconscious here. He thinks maybe, although he really hates his brothers a lot, the real problem was his pappy and basically the way his dad always took his brother's side. So the Violator, he always got shat on, he always got the blame. Everything was always his fault. Severed Head says, "So your dad was a monster?" Violator says, "Yeah, no shit, because he's 15 feet tall. He had like 100 teeth. He's also like a hellborn demon." Severed Head says, "Sounds like you have, classic Oedipus complex. So how do we resolve this desire, to kill your father?" Violator says, basically, "I just want to kill his ass. That'll probably solve a lot of my issues." But really, the Violator doesn't even know why he's angry at his dad. Probably had a lot to do with the fact that Violator felt like he didn't get the credit that he really deserved. And at the bottom, we actually learn, if we did not know already, that the Violator is the oldest of the Fleabiak brothers, and he was supposed to be sort of in charge of the family. He says everything that his brothers have learned, that they have learned it from him. So after a bit more reading of The Art of War, the Fleabiak brothers have now decided how to approach the Admonisher. He gets yoinked up by the Vaporizer pretty easily when he's distracted here. And the Vaporizer straight eats the Admonisher. No question, no ketchup, no soy sauce, nothing. Just straight away, he devours the Admonisher. His brothers are like, "Great job, that really helped us out. Wish you would have done that a little bit sooner." And then, of course, he is now not feeling so well. We see the Admonisher inside his belly. He's pissed off. He's working up a gigantic something. He says, "It's admonishing time." Violator says his brothers owe him a ton because after the Violator had killed his old man, it was up to him to decide, how the family should move forward. He says, around about this time, an archdemon by the name of Malbolgia had taken charge of the 8th level of the Afterworld. He was basically an old-fashioned demon, but Violator was kind of down with that. He hired him and his brothers. Violator became chief lieutenant until he basically dropped the ball and got banished as a result of him sort of screwing around when Spawn first got to Earth. So now, having heard this entire story, Severed Hand Head here says, Violator, basically, you're a terrible, rotten-ass person. You deserve everything that you get. You're about the biggest piece of shit that I've ever met. Obviously, you killed me, and so I really, I'm having a hard time getting over that anyway. Now Violator's pissed. He starts whacking the shit out of this face and his own arm. Violator is losing it now. He's kind of gone off the deep end. He calls him a no-neck son of a bitch, which is kind of funny. But in these few panels, we get just a really nasty, visceral, and violent sort of clown Violator here. And now Violator's realized he's basically done absolutely nothing, and his hand hurts. He pops a squat, and then he has an idea. Violator jumps up, starts to rush to the exit, realizes he's in one of these Necratius containment spheres, and he says, you know what, this is alright, because I actually think what I need is just inside this barrier. He makes a short jog down the alleyway. He looks to have found the place. He says, I really can't believe that I'm coming to this person for help. Violator doesn't make it very far into this alleyway before he gets accosted by a slew of bums, including one that is very strangely reminiscent of Elvis. Violator's like, look, put me down. Basically, I just want to see your boss. They're like, okay, you want to see the boss? We'll take you to see the boss. And Violator's like, that's fine. Like I said, I only want to see your boss. And they're like, okay, well, we've got secret security measures. And oh, by the way, when we get there, you're not going to see Bruce Springsteen if that's what you're after. Violator's like, nah. So the bums carry the Violator down the way. He's still saying basically he just wants to meet their boss. They toss him down the alley here. They turn around and leave. Violator says, I'm sorry about popping in on you like this, but I kind of need your help. I got this problem. We see the person reply, help you? Are you insane? Why on earth would you come to me for help? And then we see Spawn just chilling in his trash throne with the Violator sort of begging for help here. He says, better the devil you know. And in our next issue, we will meet the devil. This has been Sponsored Content, bringing you Violator issue number 2. Thanks for stopping by. Hope to see you again.
Boom, Jack 11.